You're lying next to her right now, wondering what the hell happened. 5 years ago, she couldn't keep her hands off you. Now she treats physical intimacy like it's a chore on par with taking out the trash. You bring her flowers, she barely looks up from her phone. You plan romantic dinners, she complains about being tired. You're doing everything the relationship experts tell you. More communication, more help around the house, more emotional availability, and somehow it's making things worse. Let me tell you something every loyal husband needs to hear, but nobody has the balls to say. The woman you married might be playing a game you don't even know exists. Here's a test that'll reveal everything. Next time she rejects your advances, pay attention to what happens after. Does she suddenly become energetic scrolling social media? Does she stay up another 2 hours watching Netflix? Does she have energy for a 40-minute phone call with her friend? She's not tired, brother. She's tired of you. And that distinction will eat you alive if you don't understand what's really happening. The contradiction between stated values and behavior is staggering. She'll tell you intimacy needs emotional connection, that she needs to feel close to want physical contact. Sounds reasonable, right? But watch what happens when she wants something. Suddenly, she's all over you before that expensive vacation discussion. Suddenly, she's interested when she needs you to co-sign that loan. The emotional connection required for intimacy magically appears when there's something in it for her. I had a client whose wife hadn't touched him in 6 months. Not in the mood, she'd say. Too stressed. Then a high school reunion comes up. Suddenly she needs a new dress, new shoes, needs him to look good. That week, she initiated every night. The day after the reunion. Back to rejection. The intimacy wasn't about connection. It was about securing his cooperation for her social performance. This instrumental use of sexuality is more common than anyone admits. Physical intimacy becomes a currency, a tool, a weapon. Everything except what it's supposed to be, an expression of love and connection. She learned early that controlling access to physical affection gives her power, and some women wield that power ruthlessly. The lust of desire through emotional resentment is real, but not how you think. She's not losing desire because you disappointed her. She's manufacturing disappointment to justify her lust of desire. See, admitting she's just not attracted anymore would make her feel shallow. But if you're emotionally unavailable, or don't help enough, or aren't romantic anymore, now she's justified. Now she's the victim of your inadequacy, not a woman who broke her vows. A guy I counseled mapped out his wife's complaints over 2 years. First, he worked too much, so he cut back. Then he didn't make enough money, so he worked more. Then he was never home. Then he was around too much. The complaints shifted to maintain the narrative that he was the problem. The reality, she checked out emotionally and needed reasons to justify it. The emotional projection and misplaced blame is a defense mechanism. She's unhappy, but not because of you. She's unhappy because reality didn't match her fantasy. She thought marriage would be constant butterflies, endless romance, perpetual excitement, when it turned out to be bills, routines, and regular life with another human. She didn't blame her unrealistic expectations. She blamed you for not making the fantasy real. The unrealistic expectations of marriage are killing relationships. Many women enter marriage seeking a therapist, entertainer, provider, handyman, and romance novel hero, all in one person. You're supposed to fulfill every emotional need, anticipate every want, fix every problem. When you inevitably can't be everything, you become nothing in her eyes. The conditional affectionist control is psychological warfare. Good day at work, she's affectionate, forgot to do something she wanted, cold shoulder for a week, bought her something nice, suddenly interested, disagreed with her, no intimacy for a month, she's training you like a dog. Rewards for compliance, punishment for independence. I've seen men literally chart their wives' affection patterns against their behavior, and the correlation is perfect. The more they comply, the more crumbs of affection they get. The moment they assert boundaries or independence, the tap turns off. It's not about love, it's about control. And most loyal husbands are too moral to even recognize this manipulation. The moral asymmetry between genders in relationships is stark. A loyal man struggles to comprehend emotional coldness. When he loves someone, he loves consistently. Bad day, still loves her. Argument, still loves her. She gains weight, still loves her. Some women's affection is like a light switch. Circumstances flip it on and off. This asymmetry leaves good men confused and destroyed. The erosion of respect and empathy happens gradually. It starts with small criticisms, the way you load the dishwasher, your choice of shirt, then it escalates. Your career isn't impressive enough, your hobbies are stupid, your friends are losers. By year 5, she's rolling her eyes at everything you say, treating you like an incompetent child in your own home. A client showed me texts from his wife. 5 years of messages. Year 1, love you baby. Year 3, okay. Year 5, single word responses or nothing. Same man, same behavior, but her respect had evaporated. Why? Because familiarity bred contempt, and contempt killed desire, and dead desire needed someone to blame. The entitlement and victimhood mindset justifies everything. She's not happy, must be your fault. She's attracted to someone else, he must have pushed her away. She had an emotional affair. You weren't meeting her emotional needs. There's always a narrative where she's the victim and you're the villain, even when she's the one breaking vows. The fantasy-driven affairs that result are pathetic when you understand them. She meets some guy who also feels unappreciated. They bond over mutual complaints about their spouses. Mistake this trauma bonding for connection. Have an affair thinking they've found true love. Reality, two broken people using each other as emotional band-aids. The deceptive storytelling in these situations is Oscar-worthy. To justify the affair, she needs you to be the bad guy. So she tells the other man you're abusive, you're not. Controlling, you're not. Cold, you're not. She creates a fictional version of you that justifies her betrayal. The other guy thinks he's saving her from a monster. He's really just enabling a liar. The illusion of emotional connection in affairs is built on shared negativity. They're not connecting over joy, growth, or authentic compatibility. They're connecting over dissatisfaction. It's two people in lifeboats clinging to each other, thinking it's love when it's really just mutual desperation. The different orientations toward commitment between genders are staggering. Most men view marriage vows as sacred, unbreakable, literal. Till death do us part means exactly that. But some women view vows as conditional poetry. Till death do us part, unless I'm unhappy, unfulfilled, or find someone better. The commitment was aesthetic, not authentic. The superficial understanding of vows becomes clear during crisis. She wanted the wedding, not the marriage. The dress, not the decades. The party, not the partnership. When marriage requires actual work, sacrifice, compromise, she feels cheated. This wasn't the fairy tale she signed up for. The failure of self-awareness is stunning. She won't examine how her behavior contributes to relationship problems. Won't consider that constantly criticizing you might affect your confidence. Won't acknowledge that rejecting intimacy might impact connection. Won't see that treating you with contempt might kill your feelings. It's always what you're not doing, never what she is doing. A man came to me after his wife complained he never talked to her anymore. When I asked about their conversations, he said, "Every time I speak, she corrects me, contradicts me, or dismisses me." Why would I keep talking? Her response, he was withdrawing emotionally. Zero awareness that she'd created an environment where communication was punishment. The neglect of consequences is heartbreaking. Children watch mom treat dad with contempt and learn that's normal. Sons learn they're worthless. Daughters learn to disrespect men. Families crumble. Generational trauma gets passed down. But she's focused on her happiness, her fulfillment, her needs. The wreckage left behind is everyone else's problem. The emphasis on self-responsibility is the only solution, but it's the one thing many refuse to consider. It's easier to blame you than examine themselves. Easier to say you're inadequate than admit they're impossible to please. Easier to find a new man than become a better woman. Accountability feels like death to someone whose identity is built on victimhood. The rejection of fantasy thinking is essential but rare. She needs to accept that no man will make her perpetually happy. No relationship will be constant excitement. No partner can fulfill every need. But accepting reality means grieving the fantasy, and that grief is too painful for many to face. The inner fulfillment truth that nobody wants to hear. If she's not happy alone, she won't be happy with you. If she doesn't love herself, your love won't fill that void. If she's empty inside, you can't make her whole. But she was sold the lie that a relationship would complete her, and when it doesn't, you become the failure. The self-development solution is the only way forward. That requires admitting the problem isn't you. She needs therapy, not a new husband. She needs self-reflection, not more validation. She needs to build internal happiness, not seek external sources. But that's hard work, and finding someone new to blame is easier. Here's what loyal husbands don't understand. You can't love someone into loving you back. You can't earn affection through service. You can't negotiate desire. The more you chase, the more she runs. The more you give, the less she values. The more you sacrifice, the less she respects. I counsel men who've spent decades trying to crack the code. More romance, she's still cold. More help with housework, still uninterested. More money, still unhappy. They're looking for the magic formula that doesn't exist because the problem isn't what they're doing, it's who they're doing it for. The behavioral patterns are predictable. First comes criticism, then contempt, then coldness, then seeking attention elsewhere, then affair or divorce. Sometimes it takes 2 years, sometimes 20, but the pattern is consistent. And loyal husbands miss every sign because they can't imagine someone who claimed to love them could be capable of such calculated cruelty. The wake-up call needs to be harsh. Your loyalty might be admirable, but it's not attractive to someone who's lost respect for you. Your dedication might be virtuous, but it's not arousing to someone who sees you as weak. Your service might be loving, but it's not compelling to someone who views you as a servant. The client discovered his wife's group chat where she and her divorced friends mocked him relentlessly. His love letters were cringe. His efforts were desperate. His loyalty was pathetic. These women were coaching her toward divorce while he was at home, researching how to be a better husband. The asymmetry of effort was tragic. The social contagion effect is real. When her friends divorce, suddenly your marriage has problems. When her sister cheats, suddenly you're inadequate. When her co-worker leaves for a younger man, suddenly she deserves better. She's not comparing you to reality. She's comparing you to curated social media fantasies and bitter friends' projections. The biological reality nobody discusses. Many women's attraction is contextual, not constant. It responds to status, success, novelty, competition. The stable, loyal husband becomes background furniture. Familiar equals boring. Security equals unsexy. Availability equals low value. You became less attractive by being a good husband. The impossible situation loyal men face is heartbreaking. Stay loyal and be seen as weak. Create distance and be called negligent. Show emotions and lose attraction. Stay stoic and be called disconnected. Work hard and be absent. Work less and be a failure. Every choice is wrong because the game is rigged against stability. The solution starts with recognizing you can't fix this alone. If she's checked out emotionally, no amount of flowers will check her back in. If she's rewriting history to make you the villain, no amount of facts will change her narrative. If she's determined to be unhappy, no amount of effort will create her happiness. The boundaries you need to establish are non-negotiable. Respect or goodbye. Affection or separation. Partnership or divorce. Not ultimatums, standards. You're not demanding she desire you, but you're refusing to live with contempt. You're not forcing her to love you, but you're not accepting emotional abuse disguised as marriage. The dignity preservation is crucial. Stop begging for affection from someone who withholds it. Stop apologizing for existing. Stop shrinking yourself to avoid criticism. You're a grown man who's been loyal, provided, and tried. That deserves respect, not mockery. The practical steps are uncomfortable but necessary. Document the rejection patterns. Record the contempt. Save the messages, not for revenge, but for reality. When she rewrites history during the divorce, you'll need proof of what actually happened. When she claims you are the problem, you'll have evidence of your efforts. The male support network is essential. Find other men who understand. Not bitter woman haters, but men who've experienced similar patterns. You need validation that you're not crazy, that this is happening, that it's not all your fault. Isolation makes you vulnerable to gaslighting. The self-improvement focus should be for you, not her. Get fit because you deserve health. Pursue hobbies because you deserve joy. Build friendships because you deserve connection. Develop skills because you deserve growth. Do it independent of her approval or recognition. The attraction paradox is real. The less you need her, the more she might want you. Not as manipulation, but as natural consequence. Neediness repels, independence attracts. Desperation disgusts, self-sufficiency intrigues. But do it for yourself, not to win her back. The future preparation is practical. Whether she stays or goes, you need to be ready. Financial independence, Emotional resilience, social connections, legal preparation. Hope for the best while preparing for the worst. Love her while protecting yourself. The truth about conditional love is painful but liberating. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you understand the game, you can choose whether to play. Once you recognize the patterns, you can break them. Knowledge is power, even when that knowledge hurts. The recovery possibility exists but requires both people. She needs to recognize her behavior, take accountability, seek help, and change patterns. You need to establish boundaries, maintain standards, and rebuild respect. It's possible, but rare. Most prefer divorce to self-reflection. The children consideration is paramount. They're watching everything, learning what marriage looks like, forming templates for future relationships. Sometimes staying together for kids means modeling dysfunction. Sometimes leaving shows them that self-respect matters. The time factor is critical. Every day you accept disrespect, it becomes more normalized. Every month without affection, the marriage dies more. Every year of contempt, recovery becomes less likely. At some point, too much damage has been done. Recognizing that point takes courage. The emotional availability trap needs addressing. You've been told to be more emotionally available, but emotional availability to someone who holds you in contempt is just providing ammunition. Share feelings with people who respect you. Be vulnerable with those who protect your vulnerability. Sexual dynamics truth is harsh. If she desired you, she'd show it. If she wanted intimacy, she'd create it. If she valued physical connection, she'd prioritize it. The elaborate excuses, the moving goalposts, the constant rejection. It's not about circumstances, it's about lack of desire. The comparison to her phone usage is telling. Too tired for intimacy but scrolls social media for hours. Too stressed for affection but has energy for girls' nights. Too busy for date night but binge watches entire series. The energy exists, just not for you. The respect restoration might be impossible. Once a woman loses respect for a man, it rarely returns. You can become successful, fit, confident. She'll still see the guy she lost respect for. The lens through which she sees you is permanently distorted. Sometimes the only solution is finding someone with clear vision. The loyalty question needs examining. Is staying loyal to someone who treats you with contempt actually virtuous? Is maintaining vows to someone who breaks theirs admirable? Is sacrificing yourself for someone who wouldn't sacrifice for you noble? Or is it just fear disguised as honor? The wake-up pattern is predictable. She'll only recognize your value when you're gone. Only appreciate your efforts when they stop. Only want you when someone else does. But by then, the damage is done. The love is dead. The respect is mutual, mutually absent. The rebuilding option exists with someone new. There are women who value loyalty, appreciate effort, desire stability. Women who understand partnership, practice gratitude, show affection. But you won't find them all trapped in a dead marriage, accepting crumbs and calling it love. The mindset shift is everything. Stop trying to earn what should be freely given. Stop working for basic respect. Stop auditioning for your own wife's affection. You're not a contestant competing for her approval. You're a man who deserves reciprocal love. The truth every loyal husband needs to hear: your loyalty is admirable, but it might be misplaced. Your dedication is beautiful, but it might be enabling dysfunction. Your love is pure, but it might be unrequited. And staying in a relationship where you're unloved isn't loyalty, it's self-destruction. The decision ahead is yours alone. Stay and accept the situation. Stay and demand change. Leave and find better. Leave and find peace. But whatever you choose consciously. Don't drift in misery calling it commitment. Don't accept contempt calling it marriage. The male worth recognition is overdue. You have value beyond what you provide. You deserve affection beyond what you earn. You merit respect beyond what you achieve. The good man, a loyal husband, a dedicated father. These things have inherent worth that no amount of contempt can diminish. The pattern breaking starts with you, not because you're the problem, but because you're the only person you control. Change your responses, adjust your boundaries, modify your expectations, not to fix her, but to save yourself. The support message for loyal husbands: you're not alone. Millions of men are experiencing this. It's not your failure. It's not your inadequacy. It's a pattern playing out across society. Understanding that pattern is the first step to breaking free from it. The hope exists in truth. Once you see reality clearly, you can navigate it effectively. Once you understand the dynamics, you can change them. Once you recognize your worth, you can demand its recognition. The pain of awareness is the first step to healing. The emotional manipulation through children is another layer many don't discuss. She'll use them as shields against criticism. You're upsetting the kids when you assert boundaries. Think of the children when you demand respect. The kids become hostages to her emotional warfare, and you're painted as the aggressor for wanting basic dignity in your own home. The financial control aspect intertwines with everything. She controls intimacy, respect, and often the money too. Joint accounts become her accounts. Your paycheck becomes family money, while her paycheck is hers. You need permission for purchases while she spends freely. Financial abuse disguised as family management. The gaslighting about your memory is constant. You never told me that. That's not what happened. You're remembering it wrong. Your reality gets questioned so often you start doubting yourself. Did you really say that? Did it happen that way? The confusion is intentional. It keeps you off balance and easier to control. The illness or crisis test reveals everything. When you're sick, does she care for you or complain about the inconvenience? When you face a career crisis, does she support or criticize? When you need her most, is she there or absent? These moments show who she really is versus who she pretends to be. The social isolation tactics, subtle but effective. She doesn't like your friends, so you see them less. Your family causes problems, so visits decrease. Soon you're isolated, dependent on her for all social connection. Then she withholds that too, leaving you completely alone while surrounded by people. The anniversary and special occasion patterns are telling. Your birthday, minimal effort. Her birthday, national holiday, your achievements. Barely acknowledged. Her achievements, celebration required. The asymmetry in enthusiasm reveals the asymmetry in care. The therapy weaponization is real. She'll demand couples counseling, then use it to list your faults. The therapist becomes another authority figure confirming you're the problem. Your concerns get minimized while hers get validated. Therapy becomes another venue for her victimhood performance. The intimacy excuses evolution is predictable. First, she's tired, then stressed. Then the kids might hear. Then she needs more romance. Then you need to help more. The target keeps moving because the real issue, lack of attraction and respect, can't be admitted without accepting responsibility. The comparison to her past is brutal. She had wild adventures with exes but treats intimacy with you like a burden. She was spontaneous with past lovers but needs scheduled appointments with you. You're getting the cleaned-up lockdown version while they got the fun, enthusiastic version. The final message is about choice. You can choose to stay in dysfunction or seek health. Choose to accept contempt or demand respect. Choose to beg for crumbs or find a feast. Choose to die slowly in a bad marriage or live fully in authenticity. The choice is yours, and you deserve better than what you're accepting. I want to hear from you. How long did you try before realizing effort wouldn't fix it? When did you recognize the pattern? What made you finally see the truth? Drop your story in the comments. Your experience might save another loyal husband from years of confusion and pain. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is stop accepting the unacceptable.